Good morning. You're watching In the Office with Mike and Bray. Have anybody ever asked you to,
No.
never, not once. Your phone never rings, never get any text.
About.
Well, I was thinking about asking you to re-record some Elvis gospel songs. I think you could do it. Your voice is just right for it. If for me, I need to record an auctioneer because that's what I sound like. Is a head to bad, but
He's too
what's it
bigger
got?
than life. See what I mean?
But how many impersonators does he have?
I know, but
I mean, one more ain't gonna hurt, and they never look like him.
no, they don't.
I mean, that's
They
it
never
all.
do.
They never have the total package.
No.
Neither
do I.
Well, you got the voice. You got the most underutilized voice I know. See, I've been calling you out in the second podcast every time. That's the thing. You can sing. You can sing good. I hear you on the road, front row. I'm right there with you, and I'm like, man, if I could sing like him.
Well, isn't it funny that I never have any requests?
I could tell you of a guy named Ben, our friend Ben, who said, when you gonna sing again? When you gonna sing again? So that matters for something. He's a
One
good dude.
person out of 400, 500 people.
Yeah, but
And Ben is my friend.
he is our friend. But
Ben's a friend.
he's a great friend.
He's just trying to be encouraging to me.
Yeah, but he's right. He's right. I know you can sing. You can act like you don't, but you do. I hear you sing in the sanctuary sometimes while you're walking, and I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let it rip. When was your birthday? When was your birthday?
When was it or when is it?
When is it?
You talk to me like I'm dead or
I
something.
can't keep up. I would know.
November, late November.
November. November. I want you to sing a song on your birthday, and sing a good one too. Harken us back to a good old day, like one of them, probably out of a Red
Can I
Bull.
say, I'm going to be, because I am transparent.
You are.
You know how possibly vain?
Mm.
Because see, I do know good singing. And
Sure.
I don't, we just got good singers here.
I'm not gonna disagree with you.
Now there
on
was
what
a
you're doing,
time
what you're about to say.
where it wasn't
Mhm.
so much. But when you have as many good,
I
it
know.
would look very vain to even try.
I know.
And it would be for me to say, hey, I'm going to sing, it just don't come across
I
good.
know that's never how you've operated.
No.
So,
And I'm telling you, we are blessed with people that,
my goodness,
that see, there's pure singers,
Mhm.
and we've got at least, when I say pure singers, I'm telling you, we probably got 4 or 5. When I call a pure singer means they flat-footed.
Mhm.
It's not falsetto.
Right.
It's they sing right out of their throat,
Yeah.
and it's coming out of their gut. I believe it's under their feet.
Yes.
And we got 4 or 5 of them. And then
That's right.
then we got the second level, which is accompaniment singers. Like
Mm-hmm.
you put them with them,
Yes, it makes it much. It even fills it up.
oh, and
right.
it's amazing.
Yes.
And then I'm down there like about your 4th level, where no kidding.
Yeah.
When I sang in a quartet, I was baritone.
Yeah.
Which means barely in tone.
Oh, come on.
But
Yeah.
you're supposed to, baritone. You're supposed to not really be heard. You're supposed to be, you just got. It's like a little,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that I could do that because
Yeah.
I can hear. I can hear every part. I just can't sing every part.
Yeah.
So I'm limited,
Okay.
and I don't want our church to be limited.
That's a good way to think about it.
So
right
why
there.
would I get up there and do that?
I agree. All right, I will abandon my quest for that.
All right.
Sorry, Ben, I tried. Today we want to just quickly talk about.
The question is, when is Ben's birthday? And I might sing it his birthday.
Now that'll
That
be
would
great.
take care of- okay.
You can do happy birthday, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Sunday we talked a little bit about after the resurrection, Jesus reveals himself to the disciples a couple of times. They're in the upper room, locked away, and he's telling them, "All right, let's get out of this room. I got something for you to do."
Right.
And that was a very fun, enjoyable sermon. You said it would be when you offered that text, and you was right. It was very fun to even study, to see all of the silly ways with which people will try to discredit the resurrection, and then even things like him coming into the room. You know, he picked the lock, he climbed through a window. You're talking about the risen Son of God. He's not out there with his little kid picking a lock. He's not having to scale through a window. He can come into any room that he wants to.
Are you talking about, so are we talking about skeptics, or are we talking about people that claim to be theologians?
Well, see, here's the problem. A lot of people who claim to be theologians act skeptical.
Okay.
And that's where we have to...
So he rose through the grave clothes.
Through the grave clothes, out the huge rock that covered it, past the Roman guards, showed himself to a woman, you know, which wasn't exactly the way they would have thought it to have happened.
No.
And yet, they're more then they want to pick on the lock situation. It's silly. It's elementary. But the reason it's debated simply is because people don't want to bow their knee to the risen Christ.
Thank you.
That's why.
Look, when Peter and them's fishing one day, and Jesus tells them how this was early on, and they caught literally a boatload.
Yes, more than they could handle.
And Peter said, Lord, depart from me. In other words, your holiness is more than I can handle.
Yes.
Now that's the right attitude. Now he didn't depart from him.
Yeah.
Because Jesus don't take his orders from people like me or Peter.
Yeah, right.
Thankfully, he don't leave us when we know we're inadequate for his presence.
Right.
But these people that come up with all these excuses for not just being humble and grateful that God sent his son in the flesh. By the way, if he can't go through a wall, then was he really God in the womb of a human being?
If he couldn't, no. Probably not.
It makes no sense. I mean, if you can't accept that he goes through a wall, can you accept that he is of the seed of the Holy Spirit?
Right, but because you've been alive longer and in ministry longer, that there have been people and are new people every day that they'll believe one miracle and then they want another. And you're like, is not the resurrection, if he can do that, can he not heal someone's hand, or can he not give someone their sight back? Or if he can give their sight back, can he not resurrect? And you sit around, where are you missing?
What really fires me up is that these platforms of even having these discussions, do you not understand that the apostles, if they thought he picked the door lock, would they have taken on the task he gave them? Would we even be sitting here with a Bible? Would we even have any concept of church at all and the gospel if Jesus had picked the lock and the disciples knew it?
Yeah.
Or
they hear it wiggling over there. Wait, y'all get quiet. It might be one of them Pharisees.
He climbed through a window, whatever, and then they're gonna go do, and we'd be willing to die.
Yeah, I think they'd give up the act long before they demanded their life.
You got to give, first of all, need to repent. A lot of these guys that claim to be theologians need to get saved.
Well, they're sitting around, they're eat up with these subjects because God's dealing with them. They can't get away from it. Even atheists and people that sit around and they're bitter at God that don't exist, they can't get away from it. They know that. They're smart enough to know that they can't get away from him, so they get bitter and they try to get a bunch of other people bitter at God so they can feel bitter together.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I'm glad, as my cousin called me simple-minded one day, and I thought it was a compliment. I'm glad that I can accept the Bible as being the Word of God.
Yes.
And I personally don't have a problem with Jonah being in a fish.
No.
And I personally don't have a problem with the Noah and his ark.
I don't have a problem with Jesus being the Son of God, and I certainly don't have a problem with him making his way through a building, a block wall or whatever, rock wall, whatever. I don't understand. I don't have time for those dumb debates.
No.
I'm just glad he resurrected.
Amen.
Which says he is the accepted Lamb for my personal sin.
Yes, that's key, because what we're getting away from is the fact that it's personal. See, the more that we debate things and we try to move it into some obscure history realm, we don't think of it as being your hope today.
If you're sitting around debating whether he made it through the wall, how many people have you ever led to Christ? How many
You know the
people?
numbers
How many
small.
people have you? I prayed for a little boy the other day.
Yes.
How many people have you personally led to Christ if you can't even believe that the Son of God can't make his way through a stupid wall? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Whatever.
Well, one of the verses from Sunday, which is one of, I like this verse because I told you, I can remember where I was the room I was in the first time I read it. John 20:30, Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples that are not written in this book, but these are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name.
Well, what are these things?
We've seen him. I mean, all these miracles. He's shown himself to be perfect. Every time a person who is intelligent or smart tries to trick him and put him to the test, hey, should we pay taxes? Oh, hey, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Or, there's several other, situations where they thought they had him, and he already had them.
He's smart enough, being he's God.
Right.
He even knew when to not say a word.
That's just true.
Because
One day, did they not get him to the edge of a cliff to push him off mob style, and then he just walked right through?
went missing.
Yes.
These things, part of that is walking through that wall.
Yeah.
And I've written these things that you might believe that he's the Messiah.
Right.
He's the Son of God.
Right.
So if you're gonna debate these little things that is an absolute lie,
Mm-hmm.
you are hindering people from believing what was put in the Word of God in order for them to believe.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, as a person who came up and chose sin,
Mm-hmm.
When I got in this church and began to hear real preaching and saw real people's lives being changed, I'm glad I didn't have some, now through the years you have one or two
Yeah.
that'll come in, you have to run them off
Yeah.
because they'll want to debate things that,
They, instead of you're already converted. You've already been born again, and then they want to convert you to a different style of theology.
convert you to their deadness.
I know.
I'm excited he went through that wall.
Yes, me too. Very much.
I'm excited that that he convinced the apostles to go and do and get out of that room and go to work.
Yes.
That's how we ended up, mostly with the Word of God and also with the pattern of witnessing and how to actually have church.
Right.
we base it on the gospel, and then you're creative based on your time and place.
Mm-hmm.
The gospel never changes. Matter of fact, you should get more and more and more excited about it. Make up your mind,
Yep.
just like Paul did.
Yeah. When he went to Athens, Greece.
Yes.
Well, we know that story. You know it very well. They got altars everywhere. He's passing there. At that time, probably hundreds of altars. Everybody could make an altar of their own.
He stirred him up.
He sees an altar to an unknown God. And he goes up there, hey, let me tell you about
That
this
one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you do. That's what I mean by being creative
Mm-hmm.
in your time and space. In other words,
Yep.
where are you in history as
Right.
far as how will people know
Yeah.
that you're interested in their eternity?
Let's give up the ghost about all this new revelation stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you a new one. I want to give you an old one that's relevant.
One of my biggest burdens is, I was thinking this the other day. I've been pastor now for over 24 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I've failed miserably on preaching all of the Bible.
Mm.
I hadn't had time.
Yeah.
So why would I need a new revelation
Right.
when I'm failing on the old one?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm telling you.
I'm worn out from trying to preach it all.
Yes.
And you got people saying that God gave them a new one on the front porch this morning. And
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I don't, hold on, I'm still dealing with Malachi's vision
Yeah.
right now. I'll get with you about,
Yeah.
40 years from now, whatever.
Exactly.
But anyway, I'm excited about what's in there.
It's been plenteous. You think of the preachers who have who went and were faithful. Martin Lloyd-Jones, the Spurgeons of the world, and they never ran out with this. And these guys, we can say these guys had an intellect that I'll never achieve. I just wasn't gifted in that way. I mean, these are very, very intelligent men, and yet they never ran out with the Word of God. So me as an Alexandria graduate, and you as you graduated from there too, did you? Congratulations! But you always mention the University of Montfort.
Well, I mean, all my
you're coming up years.
foundational.
You're foundation. Yes, so it's enough for us. It'll keep us busy.
And not only that, and most of us will never sit under one of those guys.
Right, that's true.
So the preacher I got saved under, he's in heaven now.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little shorter than me,
Mhm.
a little rounder than me.
Mm-hmm.
Had a little more hair than me actually, but he was had light color hair.
Yeah.
So when he would preach, his bald spot would get red.
Really.
Oh yeah. But he wasn't he wasn't a windsucker. I mean, he preached the Word of God.
They got after it.
And he was expositional. His Wednesday nights,
Mhm.
I learned more, and I needed it bad. New
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
His Wednesday night stuff was phenomenal, but because it's
Mhm.
verse by verse.
Right.
Sunday morning, I mean, he preached and preached the whole counsel,
Mm-hmm.
and so I never sat under one of those guys, but I sat under old country boy that used to be a chicken farmer up on Sand Mountain,
Yeah. My old stomping
and I got
grounds.
saved under him,
Yeah.
and I ran into him after I started pastoring here in Indianapolis for the Southern Baptist Convention.
Yeah.
He introduced me to one of his buddies he's up there with, and then we did a funeral together, and he was just so tickled that he said, "This old boy got saved while I was preaching."
Yeah. That's
And,
cool.
oh man, he's a great man, Herbert Smith. But
Yeah.
all I'm saying is, everybody that came out of that upper room weren't the Apostle Peter.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, you had some guys that you don't even know their name. You can't remember their name.
Right. I mean, you don't hear any more of
No.
them. You hope they were faithful
Well, they
around
are.
Jerusalem. You know they gave their life, so they probably were.
I'm sure they were.
But then some of them stood out as
That's
really getting after it.
That's the way the world's built.
Yeah.
And I'm not jealous of Charles Stanley.
No.
Charles Stanley's had a great ministry, still does. But I wasn't called to be him.
Exactly.
I've got a little church, and I'm called to be faithful to this little church.
That's right.
I
agree.
I'm excited about that.
I agree.
My head's not big enough to worry about everybody else's.
Yeah.
I got my own stuff. You know?
I understand. Quick departure, just for a moment. Since you brought up Sand Mountain, I was raised on Sand Mountain. Literally raised there till I was 12. It was a fun experience. But we thought a big city was Ider, Alabama. That was a big city. They had Co-op, McDonald's, Burger King, some kind of sporting event, like a complex,
So
skating rink.
is it because interstate went basically through it?
No, interstate. No, but it's a crossroads. It's like two highways intersect there.
Okay.
So it was a big deal.
Now we got people here originally from Henniker.
Yeah, Henniger, you would pass through Henniger to get to Ider, and Henniger
I've
you
never
could
been
stop
to
and get a Jack's biscuit, and that was about the scope of that. But
One quick story about Henniker. Many years ago, one of my deacons, he was off every Thursday. He worked for Roadway. He actually got my job when I left. He'd come and help. Matter of fact, he helped us with our worship for years. But and he and I would visit a lot because he's off on Thursday.
Mhm.
Well, so happened the Henniger family from Henniger had a death, and I said, "Well, let's ride up there to the funeral."
Yeah.
Okay. Or really graveside. Little old brick church, and this is no joke. On the side of that building was a sign. Now try to get a picture. There's a parking spot, right?
Okay.
And there's a sign on the brick of the building that said "Parking for the Blind." I'm telling you the truth, man.
Oh my goodness.
That's what it said. Parking for the blind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but
It's the same thing with McDonald's. They have a blind menu. All you gotta do is pull forward to get it. The sign is there. Just go and see it.
Okay. But now, you know, I used to have cows,
Mm-hmm.
so I sold a lot of my cows at the sale. I'm trying to think of the name of that little town, but it's it'd be to the, if you're going north on 431, you turn right, and I'm trying to think of the name of that little town, but it's close to Henniger.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Not Geraldine.
Might have been Geraldine.
Okay.
I believe it was Geraldine.
Okay.
Big cattle auction.
Yeah.
So I spent a good bit of time there through the years, enjoyed it, but got rid of them because
They have space between their eyes.
Oh, and they'll come at you. The
You
more
know.
space they got between their eyes, the more they're liable to run right into you.
I mean, you pastor in a church. You know what I mean? What do you need a bunch of cows with space between their eyes?
And my daddy got down, and I just, between pastoring,
Yeah.
cows getting out every once in a while, and daddy being sick, I just sold them all. But anyway,
Right. Tell us a little bit about Sunday.
well, I'm in John 21. You're coming out of the commission.
Mm-hmm.
He's recommissioned them. They're. I'm gonna say they probably are now pumping about, by the time he talks to them in that upper room,
Mm-hmm.
they're about 75-80% where they understand,
Yeah.
because it's important that they finally understand the doctrine of his death,
Mm-hmm. That's right.
why he died.
Mm-hmm.
They're not defeated.
Yes, exactly.
They're actually more victorious they've ever been.
Absolutely.
And now he's standing there, if you will, everything he taught them. Now he's giving them the commission.
That's right.
Guys, like you said, time to get out of this room now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, chapter 21, they have decided, at least half of them, to go fishing.
Yeah. I know. Well, man, it's what they're good at, I guess.
Yes, and let's be honest, when you're stressed,
Mm-hmm.
you revert back to, especially something they're good at.
Yeah.
They're you know what I mean? You
Uh-huh.
feel
There was some solace in going back to their old ways.
they could do that.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the stresses of ministry is that
Mm-hmm.
that you know, most guys that I know, my generation, and you were in secular work as well. In other words, you could leave here if you had to today,
Mm-hmm.
if God will let you. That's the big
That's
deal.
the big one, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
And you could make a living, be fine,
Mm-hmm.
and so could I. But and you're tempted. I used to say this: I quit every Monday morning.
Yeah.
But then, you know, but if God don't let you, He just don't let you.
That's
So,
right.
anyway,
Yeah, by
so-
lunchtime, you done pulled yourself up. All right.
Well, they're going through. It seemed like total defeat.
Yeah.
It's what it seemed like.
Right.
And now
3
they-
years of a wash. I mean,
Yes.
imagine investing 3 years and then going through defeat. That's,
and now He's resurrected, and He's met with you
yeah.
at least once,
Yes.
and if not twice,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just stressed. You have questions. You're beginning to understand. I think probably by now they don't have the Word of God.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're understanding. They're beginning to understand He is a fulfillment
Yep.
of the old prophecies.
Absolutely. That's or at least it's getting crystal clear.
I wrote these things that you may understand and believe that He's the Messiah.
That's right.
So, well, I don't know how many years it was after that happened that
Yeah.
this
I
was
don't know,
penned.
20 maybe.
Okay,
Somewhere
so-
around there.
So they're stressed, but they're also, you know, that's a good place. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good place to try to get it done. You know, they had a lot of conversation while on that boat fishing,
Yes, they did.
because they, guess what? They again fished all night and caught nothing.
No.
And here's what I love about Jesus.
Oh,
So
my
many
goodness.
things. He is literally cooking fish
That's what I was about to say.
on the beach, and they haven't caught
Couldn't
anything.
catch
But he's
one.
got. You probably knowing him. You know he is the master of the
Yeah.
sea. The wind's probably blowing over his fire,
Yeah.
and I think it's a coals,
Yeah.
and he's cooking fish, and he's got bread.
Yeah. You think they got a whiff of it?
And you know how it is. Never go to the grocery store when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Well, when you fish and you don't catch anything, and then somebody's cooking fish, and that's just
That's how you
awesome.
lose your birthright right there.
And he tells me, sure is.
Ask Esau.
And then you go hunting, don't kill nothing. And your brother's cooking a little soup. But anyway, so have y'all got any fish? And they're like, who is this dude?
Couldn't
And
tell
one-
who it was at first.
One of them said, I think it was Peter.
Yeah.
It's the Lord.
Yeah.
So anyway, then he tells.
This is real life stuff. Like, these are real guys who
Yes.
had huge personalities,
Yes.
some of them. You know that's exactly how it was. It's the Lord. My goodness.
And I
the
gotta
Lord.
watch Sunday because you don't want to get, you can put too many things that really, but there's gotta be a reason that they wouldn't catch anything again.
Yeah.
Because he just told them, well, just throw your nets on the other side. Not that they hadn't already.
You're right.
That's
of
not
course.
how it worked.
No, they worked every side of that boat.
But he said, just cast it over the other side. And they do. And it's even got a number.
Yeah.
How many fish? Was it 153?
I can't remember.
153 keepers or something like that?
153, that's right. Yeah.
And so Peter just can't take it. He dives in. I'm gonna tell you, you can criticize him. Yes, but you know what? Most
Yeah.
people that get anything done,
Or like Peter.
and they're gonna make some mistakes. I'd rather.
You'd take some Peters, wouldn't you?
What did I tell you when you came here?
Hey, I want you, yeah, you can make some mistakes, but you better be doing something.
I'd rather you goof up.
Yeah.
And you know the limit. Like for instance, I told him the other day, the first phone call you gave me.
You brought
Everybody's
that up.
alive,
You had
brother
to bring
mine.
that up.
And I'm like, okay, I'm running through my mind.
Yeah.
Who's he got with him?
Yeah.
Whose kids?
Had a deacon's kid.
Yeah, but anyway, they all live. But look,
Yes.
you gotta, you show me somebody. I don't care what.
Mhm.
People who got their own businesses go here.
Yeah.
They took risk or they have no reward.
Right.
We don't want to be goofy or cavalier in decisions, but do something. I mean, do something and do what you can in the setting you're in, and that's Peter was. He was that way, but you know what? By the time he got crucified,
Yeah.
you read his epistles.
He led thousands to the Lord.
Yes.
Thousands.
Thousands.
I mean, we don't know how many thousands for
We
sure,
don't.
but we know it's in the thousands. And you'll take that because in eternity that matters. You know, if you came to Sunday school and got your pen or whatever, but you never led anybody to the Lord, hey, there's a Peter out there who in heaven people's going to be like, man, thank you. But you know,
He was a rock. The Lord
The rock.
Jesus is the rock, and
Yeah.
Peter was a rock.
That's right.
In other words, a rock can be used to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you use it to throw.
Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes you throw and you hit your target. Sometimes you throw and you don't hit your target. You hit the wrong target, and that's how he lived.
Yeah.
But he got better and better, I think,
Yeah.
at
So-
using that energy for the things that Jesus called him to do.
Yeah, you learn to funnel your zeal. I mean, the Apostle Paul, Saul turned Paul, said the very same thing. I was zealous against the Lord. Then he knocked me off my horse, and he made me zealous for him. You know, it took 3 years to himself, got himself ready for the calling.
I'm preaching grace, like you preach the commission, basically. I'm preaching grace
Yes.
because there's too many guy, girl, they're already saved,
Mm-hmm.
but they goofed up and they tried to go back to the old world or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to tell you, if you truly are born again, Jesus has not let you go. I don't envy you
Sure.
the process it may take to get you back to him. That's
Yeah.
why you need to understand that the conversations he has with them on that beach were gracious.
Very.
But they're also, if you'll read the whole chapter,
They stung.
he tells you life's not going to be easy for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you're called to the best, the most glorious calling you
That's
could
right.
ever. I mean, the difference between a person admitting that they have sinned against God after salvation and then getting on with life and getting their neighbors to come and tell them some good news,
Mm-hmm.
and then just sitting there for 20, 30 years because you messed up right out of the gate like Peter did,
Yeah.
Jesus was not going to let him give up.
Yes.
And
I see some people in our church that's like that. They couldn't give up if their life depended on it. I mean, they're just that way. I mean, the Lord's brought them through some things that, is no more different than anyone else has been through, but they just took it as a springboard.
I'm glad. That's why God uses us, in our background.
Mhm.
I couldn't look down my nose at somebody if I had to. I mean, I'm sure I'm tempted to sometimes because that's my flesh.
Sure.
But what would it take for them to be lower than I was?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I remember we had this guy visit here. This has been 20 plus years ago. They visited here. Back then, outreach, you just showed up. If they came to your church, you just show up at their house.
Yeah.
Well, I was by myself going out visiting. And I bombed or something somewhere. I just showed up at this guy's house because they visit our church.
Yeah.
Well, he's sitting by the pool, got a cold.
Yeah.
And he's embarrassed, and I told him, "Look, don't be embarrassed.
Mhm.
Your house, your pool.
Yeah.
I didn't call, and it's my fault." And,
Yeah.
and he carries the beer back in there.
Yeah.
And he sits down and thanks me for coming.
Mhm.
2 weeks later, he got saved here.
Amen.
And now he's one of the best leaders we got.
Yeah.
Now I could go on and on about one of the reasons God saves a Peter or somebody like me
Mhm.
is there's people out there maybe that we can reach
Yeah.
that maybe is hard. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
want to get too.
How many of your buddies that finally got saved through the years? I'm having buddies now getting saved. Some of my school buddies, deacons now at this church. I mean, you're just like, what in the world, guys?
That's great.
The Lord's doing
that's
stuff.
that's Jesus sitting on the beach.
Hey, another guy we graduated with, him and his wife, they recently joined a church. They messaged me early in the week, hey, can we help in any way with the Lord's Supper? And they helped do traffic yesterday. And so you're just like, hey, we're still in this thing.
Jesus is cooking fish for some reason. He's not known for being a chef.
Yeah.
He was known for being a carpenter.
Right.
But it reached as at least 6 guys are out there fishing. That's half of his ministry.
Yeah.
Guys that are about to transform the known world with
Yep.
the gospel. And instead of throwing rocks at them or fussing at them from the beach, he fixes them a breakfast
Mm-hmm.
and speaks grace into that. Not just grace like, hey, that blood I shed, well, it's eternal.
Yep.
You'll be forgiven forever. But I got something for you to do.
Yes.
And that is what he does. It's.
Mhm.
I think I'm going to entitle it "What Grace Looks Like,"
Okay.
and go from there. But that's what it looks like.
Yes.
The cross was mercy.
Mm-hmm.
It's judgment withheld from us, placed on him. Grace means favor applied.
Yes.
So when you say God showed me grace, that means he's showing you favor, the favor of God.
Mhm.
And one of the most important things he does is allow you to be part of his ministry of reconciliation.
Absolutely.
You couldn't be shown more favor
No.
than being a fallen human being who's received mercy at the cross,
Yes.
and then the rest of your life you're given grace. Grace. I was given grace yesterday. Why wouldn't I plan on getting it today?
Yes.
Why don't I plan on it tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Cause that's who he is.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm preaching on is what grace looks like.
I'm looking forward to anytime that you get a little time away, you come back ready to go. I'm telling you, on this after that last get away, hey, you've been
Well, I won't tell you,
you've been solid.
you've done a good job to help, and so has Terry and our whole staff.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, most of all, our people through this time, the people that can't come have blessed me, and the people that
can come have blessed me. And the people
Absolutely.
that they're kind of, they're having to duck and dodge
Mhm.
because of their situation. I commend them all. And people, we got people out here working right now doing stuff.
Yeah.
As we speak, we just got, those people help me be very positive.
Absolutely.
I mean, when I say positive, I mean, you got to preach the whole book, and sometimes, sin is sin, and it cost Jesus his life, and therefore we're not going to get too syrupy around here.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when I mean positive about the direction that we
Yeah.
go, and the gospel being the center of that.
Absolutely.
That's all I mean.
Well, Sunday is coming. I look so forward to that. We'll be sharing some information through the week on social media. A little bit more information about the family room, though it will not be this Sunday, but the following Sunday. But we'll get you some more information about that. You may be reached out to, some of you by some of our other ministry leaders. Again, we're doing things. We're rolling things out slowly. We're trying to be strategic, trying to be as safe as possible.
Yeah, because this is not a restaurant.
Right.
This is not. I mean, this reminds you of what I'm watching them trying to do with school systems, and that's a bigger animal.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but because it involves multiple, if it's just one school,
Yeah.
and then they can do it a certain way, but they're having to ease it out there and then see what happens. I mean, that's bad to have to live that way, but that's exactly the situation we're in. So
That's right.
deal with it.
We're gonna deal with it.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. That's what we're doing, and so we don't like roll out a bunch of stuff and say y'all come right now.
Mm-mm.
We're tending to our own people.
Yep.
And what's happening though is our people are inviting people.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Keep it up.
wonderful.
Keep it up.
But as far as saying we're going to do this, this, and this, right now you can't say that.
Yeah.
You try something.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to dial back a little bit, you dial it back, and
That's
that's what we've done. And so far, it's worked. So
Good deal. Well, did you get to eat any shrimp?
yes,
You did. How you have it cooked, prepared?
I go to it's kind of a wholesale type retail too. But
Yeah.
you go and I bought 2 pounds
Okay.
of jumbo shrimp.
Jumbo.
Had them steamed
Steam.
and medium seasoning.
little seasoning.
I buy their homemade cocktail sauce.
All right.
And now Robin likes smoked tuna dip, and I like it too now that I've tasted some from down there.
Okay.
So if you ever go to Orange Beach, then I've used Blaylock's, but also I can't pronounce the other ones. It's either maybe it's Latark or something
No,
like
I
that.
don't know.
It's right on the main Avenue Boulevard. But
Yeah.
anyway, both of those are good. West Panama City is Buddy's Seafood.
Okay.
Same thing. You get by the pound. I bought 2 pounds. Ooh, and there's smoked tuna dip at Buddy's on the West End Laguna Beach side.
Yeah.
Close to Pier Park.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that, I say that right?
Pure Park, yeah.
Ooh, man, you go by there and you don't call it in or nothing. You show up, hey, I want 2 pounds, and then Royal Reds will be coming in for long. So if you're back down there in like fall, get you some Royal Reds.
Okay.
Oh my word!
Did you go to the donut shop?
No, because we
Other side of town?
no, because we were at Orange Beach, but
Oh, you said that. Sorry.
if we go now,
If you go to
yeah,
Panama
oh,
City.
definitely. We're in walking distance. When
Did
we
you go to the back, whatever they call it, backyard something? They got the milkshakes or something?
No, we were, cause it's pandemic.
Yeah.
We didn't eat out. We ordered out
There you go.
once, and
It's
then
hard to order out a milkshake. It probably is not going to make it to you like you would like it.
so we did mostly cooking in the condo. And
Good.
you save money that way. Probably don't gain as much weight that
Yeah.
way. And I walked every day. I walked over the bridge, Perdido. Oh man, you don't.
So nice down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice. We
So-
spent a lot of summers down there when I was a kid. My dad had land down there, and it was a fun time. Except when the weather wouldn't be right. You'd plan a trip, you'd get down there, and you'd have a straight week of nastiness. And my daddy, he was just this way. He'd be like, "All right, we'll stay another week," because the weather was bad. We didn't get to do anything.
Robin, my wife, has great memories down there because her grandparents would rent, and the house is still there, by the way.
Really?
Yes, it is. It's close to Perdido Pass.
Mhm.
It's one of the last old houses, you know, going on the right as you're going east.
Yeah.
Still there. We looked at it the other day.
How cool was that?
Yeah.
You know, they had Jack's Hamburger down there. Like, that was one of the first,
Yeah.
you know, drive-through restaurants. They had Jack's.
Her granddaddy, Mr. Adderholt, would rent that house for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty much their only vacation all year. And you know, his kids could come
Yeah.
various times during the 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's cool.
Robin went every year. They'd take her or whatever, and she just had great memories of that. Mammy, her
Mhm.
grandmother could cook as well, and she was an English professor, teacher at Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
And her granddaddy, you know, rough, sawmill type person.
Yeah.
Had a lawnmower shop, you know, for years right there on the highway. His daddy owned Adderholt's Mill, where they milled
Okay.
corn
Yeah.
there, and Jim Daddy.
Mm.
And thankfully, one of the grandboys has bought the old house.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh.
He was talking about buying the mill. I don't know what happened to that, but
Yeah.
and maybe it's still on, but he owns the property where the lawnmower shop was in the little lake, and he bought the house that Granddaddy Adderholt built.
It'd
And
be
they
fun to
fixed it
restore
up.
the mill, and that'd be something nice.
But Robin's got great memories of all that
Yes.
stuff, and you know, she loves the beach more than me.
Mhm.
But
You're
hey,
coming
I love-
around.
she loves the beach. I love my
You
wife.
love her.
That's right.
That's right. I love it. Sunday, 8 a.m. We'll have small groups released on Facebook. 9 a.m. we will have our first service, and it will be streamed live to Facebook. And then 11 o'clock we'll have another service. So we hope you will join us. Can't wait.
And let me say very quickly,
Yes.
Brother Terry's blessed us with the time he's put in. He has taken a church as their interim. He's still going to help us with our videos a week or two,
Yes.
small groups. We're excited for him,
Yes.
and more so excited for that church.
Yes.
He'll be Gail, his wife, more so. But just
Yeah,
like mine,
absolutely. She's great.
solid,
Great woman.
both of them.
Yeah.
And they'll bring some. They will be a blessing to that church.
He's always had for his age. He's a very
What do you mean for
positive.
his age? He's not like much
upbeat.
older. But anyway,
Hey, I mean
He's-
what I say. He's got a lot of energy, and
more energy than me.
even me, I see him. I'm like, man,
Thank you.
it's impressive.
Anyway, we're celebrating with them.
Yes.
Hate to lose him, but he's going to help us with that, and looking
Yes.
forward to next couple of weeks with him, and just blessed to have them as long as we did.
Well, it is absolutely. All right, well, Brother Mike, you'll pray. We'll get out of here.
Lord, thank you again. You're so good. You're
Yes.
so faithful, and you invite us to come and join in. You
Mhm.
commissioned us to go share the gospel, and now, Lord, when we fall, when we mess up, when we back up, you're faithful,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the constant, and you love us, and you pull us right back.
Yes.
Teach us. You help us not to make the same mistakes twice or 3 times, but you
Mhm.
forgive us, and we love you.
Amen.
Use us till you come. Find us faithful, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.